Welcome to the Explainer. Every great project starts with an idea, right? But how do you actually get from that spark of an idea to a successful launch? That's what we're tackling today. We're going to break down the different roadmaps you can use to guide your project from start to finish.
So let's frame it like this. Every single project you take on is a unique journey. And you, as the leader, you're standing at a crossroads. The path you pick right now, it's going to make or break the whole thing. So, how do you know which way to go?
Well, good news. You don't need a crystal ball for this. Turns out, you just need to answer two really simple core questions. Seriously, that's it. Think of these questions as your project's compass. They're going to point you in exactly the right direction right from the get-go. All right, so here they are. First up, deliverables. Are you going to hand over the finished product in one big drop all at once, or are you going to release it piece by piece? And the second question is about changes. How many changes do you expect along the way? Are things pretty set in stone, or is everything likely to shift and evolve? Depending on your answers here, you're going to land on one of four main paths. Okay, so based on those answers, you've got four main paths opening up in front of you. Each one is a totally different way of managing a project, built for a different kind of journey. Let's dive in and take a look at each one. First up is the most classic, the most traditional path. Think of it like a straight, perfectly paved highway to a destination you already know. This is the predictive approach. The whole mindset here is about certainty and control. You predict everything up front, you plan it all out in insane detail, and then you just drive straight towards that one single delivery at the end. Now, this path is absolutely perfect if you know exactly what you're building from day one. Single deliverable, very few changes expected. It gives you a super clear, structured route. But, and this is a big but, you gotta be careful. Its biggest strength, that rigid structure, is also its biggest weakness. If anything unexpected pops up, this path doesn't really know how to handle a detour. Okay, our next path is a little different. Imagine you're building with Legos. You know what the final castle is supposed to look like, but you build it section by section. That's the incremental approach. You deliver the product in these gradual chunks, adding new features over time. The whole mindset here shifts to getting something valuable into people's hands sooner, not making them wait until the very end. So this is ideal when you know the big picture, the overall scope, but you want to release it in stages. The cool thing is, each little piece you release is a working, usable part of the final product. This lets you get early feedback and make tweaks long before the whole thing is done. Path number 3 isn't a straight line at all. It's more like a loop of constant refinement. This is the iterative approach. It's all about building a version, testing it, learning from what you find, and then making it better in the next cycle. The mindset here is totally different. You actually embrace feedback, and you see every little imperfection as a chance to learn and improve. And this is what makes this approach so powerful. You can end up with an incredibly high-quality product, even if you don't have all the answers at the start. Because you're constantly refining it based on real-world findings, you make sure that the final version is solid, well-tested, and actually gives users what they need. And that brings us to our fourth and final path, which is by far the most adaptable. This is the Agile approach. This path is designed for those journeys where you're not even 100% sure what the final destination is going to be. You use it when you expect lots of small deliverables and lots of changes. All the work gets done in these short, intense cycles called sprints. It's a really dynamic process. Forget about a massive upfront plan. Instead, you capture what needs to be done in these little user stories. The team grabs the most important stories, works like crazy on them for a sprint, and delivers a working piece of the product. Then they get feedback, look at how they work together, and fine-tune their process for the next sprint. It's a constant cycle of doing, learning, and improving. Now, here's where things get really interesting. On this Agile path, the whole team structure is different. There's no single project manager calling all the shots. So, if there's no boss, who's actually in the driver's seat? Well, leadership is actually shared. You've got two key roles. First, the product owner. Think of them as the team's guide. They're the voice of the customer, deciding what to build next to deliver the most value. Then you have the scrum master. They're not a boss, they're more like a coach. Their job is to protect the team, clear roadblocks, and make sure everything is running smoothly so the team can just focus on doing great work. Okay, so we've walked through four totally different paths, which brings us right back to where we started, right? How do you know, for sure, which path is the right one for your project? How do you make sure you don't pick the wrong one and end up lost? The answer is actually a really powerful but simple tool. It was developed by an organizational theorist named Ralph D. Stacey, and it's called the Stacey Matrix. It's designed to do one thing: cut through all the confusion and point you to the right answer.
So here it is, the Stacey Matrix. It looks simple, and it is. It just plots your project based on two things. On the vertical axis, you have requirement uncertainty, which is just a fancy way of saying how well do we know what we're supposed to build. And on the bottom, you have technical uncertainty, or how well do we know how to build it. See? If you know exactly what to build and how to build it, low uncertainty on both, you're in that predictive zone. If you have no idea about either one, well, you're going to need Agile. And if you're somewhere in the middle, that's where Incremental or Iterative come in.
Okay, let's make this real. Imagine your team's job is to build a brand new finance app for your phone. The tech is pretty new and you're not totally sure what features users will want. So high uncertainty on what to build and high uncertainty on how to build it. That lands you squarely in Agile territory. So what does the team do? First, they'd collect some of those user stories, things like, I want to track my spending. Then they'd plan a quick 2-week sprint to build just the most basic, most important feature, maybe a simple budgeting tool. At the end of those 2 weeks, they release it. They get it into the hands of real users to get feedback. Then they huddle up, talk about what worked and what didn't, and then they start the next cycle, ready to add the next feature and make the app even better. So when it comes right down to it, there's no single best way to manage a project. There's only the best way for your project, for your specific journey. By just asking those two simple questions about your deliverables and about how much change you expect, you can pick your path with confidence. So, you've got the map, you've got the compass. The only question left is, where are you going to lead your team?